Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so Geminis, let's get into this. Geminis, just know there's a Scorpio video coming out right after this. I've already recorded it. It's just still been processing. But we're going to take a look at a no contact situation. And Gemini, this particular backdrop technically really is a tip of the hat to Gemini, but I loved it so much and I wanted to kind of like expand it and take on a broader perspective throughout the week. So I'm using this backdrop for all zodiacs, but just know that there's a little hyper focus on Gemini in this, really. So with this no contact situation, I really wanted to look at like how is somebody else thinking about the situation, thinking about Scorpio, what's going on. And obviously this would be two people that are still very, very bonded together, right? So let's keep all this in mind as we begin. Here we go. Ace of Swords and the Moon. So we start out possibly with the Pisces. Annie S. Hey, babe. You are so awesome, love. So great to catch you. I know you were waiting for this one, huh? Thank you guys for letting me know. That always warms my heart when I know that you guys are looking forward to certain zodiacs. So thank you so much. It's really awesome of you. We'll probably do a Leo tonight, by the way, also, Annie, and I know you like Leos too. We've got this wonderful energy of the high priestess here, and that's coming out sideways as well. All of this hidden energy, all of this sensation, all of this connectivity, and yet they seem like I'm not allowed to reach out. I can't reach out to Gemini. The truth of it is, I don't know if they even want to hear from me. My intuition is all skewy on this. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if I just am reading this wrong. Does Gemini even still think of me? I think of them all the time, but maybe that's me feeding that mechanism right back to myself. Two of Cups in the reverse. This person is really saying, I think I must have been wrong. This isn't my Two of Cups. This must have been a false Two of Cups. I guess. I don't know. This is somebody who is like really struggling with, if Gemini can not want to talk to me anymore, then I must be all wrong about how important this connection was. And I don't know if they want to talk to me, and I can't tell. I feel like this person's like, oh, like all this chaos, like they're just buzzing around, and I want to be like, ooh, calm down. Calm down. You sound really upset over the fact that you and Gemini are not in sync, in harmony with each other, and it's making you doubt everything about the sincerity and validity of the emotions you have for Gemini, and whether or not this was meaningful or whether this is just something to forget all about and move on. Obviously, look, for them, this was a 10 of Cups. Not surprised at all that they're so rattled, so shaken, and even half trying to tell themselves, I guess this wasn't important. I guess I should let this go. I guess it doesn't mean anything. But I'm hearing that song by Bob Dylan most of the time. She ain't even on my mind most of the time. Most of the time, I don't wonder where it all went most of the time. And it's like the whole song, belies what he's actually saying. Most of the time I don't remember her kisses. Most of the time I don't think of her. But in sitting there saying it means you think about it all the freaking time, right? So, and I feel like that's how this person is. It's a direct contradiction to what they're saying. I'm sure this probably didn't mean anything, right? I mean, like, probably, Gemini doesn't care about me, and this was just a relationship that, it was just kind of like we're super happy. It was a 10 of Cups, but like it didn't mean anything. Oh my God, person, stop. Just stop. Ace of Pentacles. I do think when I say stop, this is like the full stop button. It literally, like, let's punch the green button here and be like, whoa, hang on. Reset. Think about this truthfully and honestly. Let me, now that they've had their hyperventilation session over there, let's go ahead. I'm not making fun of this person, by the way. I can tell they're very upset over the fact that they're not in contact with Gemini. But now that we've had that little green button reset, let me ask again, how do you feel about Gemini? Not how you think Gemini feels about you and blah, 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 blah. They think Gemini's an empress. They think they're freaking obsessed with Gemini, with the devil, and like they want to talk to Gemini with the Page of Pentacles. They're scared to talk to Gemini, and they're obsessed with the idea of talking to Gemini. That I could say is real. The fact that they think the world of Gemini. An Empress is like creme de la creme. There's not very many Empresses out there. They're, like amazing. Empresses are giving and they're kind and they're loving and they're super impressive. And this person doesn't have anything negative to say about Gemini, right? Hi, Zion's Gaming. Great to see you. Okay, so if that's really what you feel like now, how do you think Gemini is looking at this situation? The Moon and the Seven of Pentacles. Now we can see why they were hyperventilating kind of in this story. I'm not saying they were really. I'm just saying there was a lot of amped up energy. And the reason for that is because they're like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I really couldn't read Gemini, and over time I thought I'd be able to read them better. The Seven of Pentacles, it's like, I have no idea. Now it's been so long since I last heard from Gemini. Let me ask you this. Why do you believe you and Gemini are not in communication? Three of Pentacles, I think that Gemini's with somebody else, building with somebody else instead of me. Okay, so that's where the real sting is, and that's where the real worry is. Okay, so they think Gemini's not reaching out to me because Gemini found somebody else. But I don't know. I don't want to think that. We can see why they're so stressed. We can see all that. It's the confusion. It's the not knowing. It's also, if they've been trying to check up on Gemini online, it's like Gemini doesn't have much of an online presence, or they're not very easily accessible, or Gemini doesn't post things that would give somebody, a way to like peer in and see what's happening. Let's shift over and let's go to Gemini now. Gemini, tell me about, how do you see this no contact situation? Strength card, Eight of Swords. I mean, it may actually take Gemini some serious personal empowerment to prevent themselves from reaching out to this person, but they're like, honestly, this is a really tough situation for me too. I'm trying to, stay calm myself. I feel very stuck on, mulling over what happened. I meditate over this sometimes. I think about it a lot. Village 5, hi, sweetheart. We have Three of Pentacles. It feels like Gemini is saying, what I think I've come to the conclusion of is like, we would both need to have like more equitable energy between us. We would need to sit down and talk to each other. That's kind of what needs to happen here. We have the Star. Gemini would like this thing to be healed. So I'm guessing there was some kind of pain involved if Gemini's wish is that we would both sit down and be on the same page. But I'll be damned if I'm reaching out to them to make that happen. Hang on. Gemini, what happened that needs to be healed? Page of Cups, Six of Wands. They owe me an apology for being either egotistical or like they need to actually tell me that they love me instead of just feeling super special that I love them. Gemini says they owe me an apology. Hang on. Let's go back over to them for just a second. Character, you keep saying you don't know what's going on with Gemini, but is there any inkling that you think maybe something went wrong also? Seven of Wands, we had a fight. Yeah, a fight, and there's no justice is scrawled on the wall there. I didn't write that. That's if it were my handwriting, you wouldn't be able to read it. That's on the card. Okay, so they're like, yeah, we did have this argument. And, it's like either I blocked them or they blocked me, or we were blocking each other, with words in the argument. We weren't on the same page. We weren't able to say the same things. Queen of Swords, Fuse Mystic Faith. Great to see you guys. Four of Cups. Yeah, I do have a regret about that. Okay, then, baby, have you considered talking to Gemini and saying, I'm really sorry about that conflict we had? Have you considered that? It seems like I'm, having to pry this out of them. They're like, what I'm afraid of is that it's already too late. Okay, so basically you're letting your worry that it's over destroy your ability to just reach out and say, Gemini, that fight we had, I feel horrible about it. I don't know if this is the end for us, if you ever want to talk to me again, but oh my God, I think the world of you and I don't want this to be over. Like it seems like you see how this person's sitting here with their little hands covering their face, like it's too scary. I don't want to find out that Gemini says that it's over. So instead I've been awkwardly sitting here in silence, freaking out, going, is it over? Okay, so they're kind of creating their own hell right now. And Gemini says they owe me the apology. So that's why Gemini's not budging. Gemini's thought about it, but they're like, I can't. If I reach out to them, then it's like I accept their bad behavior. Then we set a precedence that they can say and do anything, but then I'll come running back. And then maybe they'll say sorry instead of actually showing me that they're changing and that they're actually sorry. No, I can't do it. And maybe I wish I could. Because if they came in to say sorry, you better believe I'd sit down at the table with them. I'd give anything for this to be healed. But if this person has an ego, I'm not about to like fan it for them. No, I can't. I feel like this is like Herculean effort for Gemini to say, I will not. It's not that I'm trying to be stubborn. It's that if I don't set some kind of like gateway that says, you don't treat me like that, and then think I'm going to come back in and make it okay with you. You need to know how to say sorry and change your behavior. Otherwise, this won't work. It's just so crazy that they're sitting here saying, I think Gemini doesn't want me. And I would say this is a lot of ego in this. If they can't say sorry, but they're devastated over, I think Gemini doesn't want me. I think maybe they never wanted me, blah, 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 blah. I can't bear to find out. No. What you can't bear to do is go crawling like you should and say sorry. And I'm sorry, I'm laying it on thick right now because this person's bugging me. So sorry. I'm so sorry. That's sassy old Kate comes in and wrecks it. Perfectly good storytelling with, I always say my alter ego rides this big Harley Davidson or some huge loud hog, and I come busting in and, say some sassy thing, and then I ride out again. We have a 5 of Wands. Look, they go round and round and fight with themselves about, should I reach out? Should I reach out? Should I reach out? Let me just ask, what is the number one thing holding you back? Really? Let's put them in the hot seat for a second. 4 of Swords sideways. What if I hear crickets? What if I reach out? What if I put in the effort? If they have to travel or something to go see Gemini? What if I get there and I don't even get to talk to Gemini? What if Gemini will not say word one to me? That will be so devastating. That will be a whole nother thing. It's really, I don't want to know that it's over. I can't bear to find out that I'll never be able to talk to Gemini again because they don't want me. Somehow it's better, at least in their mind, to live in this hell of, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And thinking the worst case scenario instead of them finding out for real, whether or not it's over. I don't know if this person's going to get out of their own way on this. They seem to be really struggling. Okay, so Ace of Wands is here and it's sideways. We'll say, I always think that some of the best, motivation in life for us to do anything is if we're very, very uncomfortable, like nothing motivates change more than discomfort or desire. Look, we can say I'm locking myself in this room. I'm not talking to anybody. And then when our tummy gets hungry enough, we go, okay, I'm going to open up the door and come out and get something to eat in the kitchen and maybe start talking to people again. It's like when we are hungry for something, we are motivated, or when we're really uncomfortable in a situation, then we're motivated. So in this case, it still says that their desire for Gemini eventually will win out. I just don't know if it's going to be too late or not. They may really, really, really want to connect. 6 of Swords. I feel like so much time keeps passing, and it's like as their hunger for Gemini goes beyond their fear of what will happen if I come forward, when they get into like calmer energy. Remember at the beginning, they were all over the place. I was like, this is crazy, buzzing, freak out energy. They're telling themselves worst case scenario, but they're doing nothing to try to fix anything. It says when they chill out and when they go, listen, what I really care about is I really want this Gemini. So I'm calm and I'm single-minded and focused on that. I need to talk to Gemini. They will reach out. I just don't know if it's going to be too late because this is certainly taking them some time. Wheel of Fortune, Hanged Man. When it boils down to will it be too late? It says it'll be the right time because Gemini will have had ample time to think about this from a lot of different perspectives. They maybe needed to also get some different perspectives. Maybe this will be enough time passes so that the ego is less important than how much they actually love this Gemini. The Hanged Man is is somebody who needed the downtime. Like this no contact time, there's a good reason for it. This isn't wasted. This is like, especially if two people had a conflict and Gemini was like, you know what? They cannot treat me like this. I'm not dealing with this. And then there's this stony silence for a period of time and nobody reaches out. That's actually not a bad thing. It says this time of no contact was very necessary. This was all about divine timing because somebody needed to look at things through a different lens. Now, possibly both of them. Could be that Gemini needed to consider, is this what I want to deal with? Or when we do talk again later, if they approach me or if they don't, what did I learn out of that? How do I want to handle things in the future? Or if they do approach me, what conversation really needs to be established? Or like I said before, with their ego, maybe they finally realize I need to get the hell out of my own way with this ego. I need to go tell Gemini, look, I don't care how foolish I look. I am so sorry about the fight. I just want you back if you would have me. Like this is the opportunity where during this no contact, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of contemplation, but it says there's a necessity for this no contact. And it's because everybody has to look at things through a different lens. So we do see them being able to, connect again. Knight of Cups. Actually, I feel like when they do talk again, and in this storyline, it will be on much more gracious, loving ground. I feel like this person is going to approach in the right way. I feel like they are going to approach with that apology, possibly also with a very sincere, this is me trying to get you back, Gemini, after I blew it with you. They come in with a very different energy. So this time apart is actually really well spent right now because it's the only way, thoughts, when we saw that strength card for Gemini, and it's like they're standing in their power right now. That also seems like that was the best move for this particular Gemini. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for being here. Tex M, Kiki, Brie, Raquel, NH. Thank you guys so much. The Mixtape Mystic. Thank you for being here, guys. All right, I'm going to bounce out. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later on tonight as well. Lots of love to everybody. So appreciate you. Bye for right now.